As I'm sure you all know by now, I'm quite a big fan of turning supports into DPSs. And out of the entire roster of the standard banner 5 stars, I have turned every single one of them into a DPS, aside from one, and that is Mona. I've actually been meaning to turn her into a DPS for probably close to a year now, but just never got around to it. So today, I have a few different build options and teams I would like to try with her, and we're going to see if we can get her, as usual, to hit over 100,000. I have seen people get like 200 and 300,000 out of her, so maybe we can see that. Although my Mona isn't C6, I don't know if she gains damage from C6, but I only have her C2 at the moment, so we'll see what we can do. First things first, we need to get her leveled up. She is only level 80, and I need a lot more of these. God damn it, I hate fighting the Oceanid, but I did just do a few runs of this before I recorded, so I don't have a lot of resin. So before we go farm these, I'm going to go farm the mushrooms, and then maybe a bit more resin can replenish in the meantime, so we can do a few more runs of that boss without needing to use any fragile. And then we get to the fun stuff of builds and artifacts and teams, of which I do have a few ideas. I think Mona has a few different options when it comes to DPS teams. You can either build her as a burst DPS because her burst can do pretty decent damage. Otherwise, I believe you can also build her as a charge attack DPS and as a plunge DPS with Xian Yun. So I'm going to try out all three of those and see which one I like the most. And then I will need to figure out what I'm going to do with artifacts and weapons. I think I'm just going to run her on Widsith because the Skyward Atlas is good. It gives us more attack and it gives us some normal attack damage and whatnot. But I think the Widsith will be better because I'm pretty sure Mona can use all of the different buffs it gives you. So I believe I'm going to go with the Widsith. Plus it is R5, so that will probably be our best bet for weapons. And then artifacts, I think there's a few options as well. We can either run her on full emblem for burst damage, or we could run her on like a two-piece with like Wanderer's Troop and then like Noblesse for burst damage or something, or like Noblesse and Heart of Depth or full Heart of Depth, or there's probably a few different things we could run, which I will need to look into. But I think the first set I'm going to run is just Heart of Depth because it is just hydro buffing. Well, we have farmed all of the Philadelphia mushrooms. I have exactly 60, and that is clearing out the entire world and going and buying the 5 from the girl who sells it over here. If there was one less in the world, I wouldn't have been able to level up Mona, so that's good. But now we need to go farm this stupid boss. Hopefully only 2 more times, but realistically it'll probably be 3. Well, this is run number 2, so we're gonna need to use fragile resin here, unfortunately. But if we see 4 drops here, we're done. God damn it. Okay, looks like I'm gonna go fight this stupid boss another time. There we go. That stupid boss is down, and we now have enough of the Oceanids drops. Okay, so I probably need to go farm these, and then we can craft these up. And then Mona is sorted. I should also have a look at your talents. Your burst is level 8, that's fine. Probably should do your normal attack and skill though, especially if I'm going DPS. I probably will need them, so I definitely need to farm more Whopper Flowers. Have they added in more Whopper Flower locations? Because I swear I don't remember going all the way into like Inazuma, and there was one up in like Sumeru Desert over here. I don't remember getting those Whopper Flowers before. So either they've added new ones or I just haven't gone there in the past and I gave up after farming all the ones in Leeway. But I swear there's more. That's actually kind of nice, because now I don't need to pull out the interactive map when I don't have enough Whopper Flowers. That is now everything for Mona, so we can get her up to level 90. I do not have enough books. Okay, that's an issue. I will get back to that. Let's have a look at your talents first. We'll get it to level 6. And then we're going to need a lot more of these. And apparently I don't have any of the Boreas drops, which I really thought I would have a lot of, but apparently not. So what I'm going to try to do is we're going to try to get your burst up to level 9 and your skill up to level 7 or 8 maybe. We'll do have 14 of these. So that's going to be our limiting factor because they're not open today. So actually we're not going to touch the burst because that's going to use up 12 of them. Let's try to get this normal attack up to level 8 to match the burst. Boom. And to go any further, we need more of these, which aren't open today, although daily reset is in 9 minutes. So maybe they'll be open tomorrow. Actually, yes, they will be open tomorrow, but that's technically today. They'll be open in 9 minutes. So I could probably also get, I'd say not both of them, but I could probably get the burst up to level 9, which I reckon's probably our best bet because I'll also use this for just normal supportive stuff if I'm not running DPS in the future, which realistically I don't think I'm going to be running DPS Mona exclusively forever. So now we wait for the daily reset. Let's have a look at artifacts. I'm going to start with her on a charge attack team, I reckon. I'm going to run her on Nymph's Dream. Actually, no, we're going to run her on Heart of Depth because we get increased normal and charge attack damage by 30%. Now, do we have good pieces on this? I would assume probably because I farmed some for Barbara, but apparently not. Let me see if I can strongbox some because I have plenty of artifacts to do that with. That is actually quite nice. So I think I can just ignore trying to get a Hydro damage goblet because that is beautiful. Give me something nice. Ooh, that's pretty good actually. Attack percent's nice. So now we just need to get her on the rest of her Heart of Depth and circle it. Okay, boom. Mona build. Currently sitting her at 1300 attack, 65 to 185 crit ratio. Could be better, but it's not bad. And 194 ER. That is actually pretty decent. And now, since doing that, it is a new day. Let's quickly go over here and farm her talents. Well, there we go. That is all of those runs done. I'm definitely going to need to craft some stuff, but it turns out I actually had a few condensed resin left over that I didn't think I had, which is nice because it got me more runs. So now, without needing to craft any more of the blues, we can get Mona's burst up to level 9. I probably should have used some of those condensed resin on the level up books because she is only level 83 and I don't have any level up books, but oh well. It's going to take me a lot more than 3 condensed resin to get enough to get her level 90, so she can stay at 83. Which means with all that done, it is time to go see what she can do. So this is the first team I'm going to run. I'm not 100% sure if it's our best team, but we're going to run with it. Obviously, we're coming to this boss because it's just easy to test on. And we're going to look at charge attack damage for this specific team. So rotation-wise, swell some stuff. Shalonen some stuff. I don't really know. Do some stuff. And then charge attack. 27,000? Okay. It's not bad. 24,000? That's more than I thought we were going to do, to be honest. So we're going to try a slightly different team, I reckon, for this run. Although I don't know what that would be. We definitely want Vaporize, so we'll keep Bennett in there. Because I literally don't know who else I could run. Unless I want to swap Kazuha out for Sucrose to give more EM, which is something I could try out actually. And again, looking at charge attack damage here, charge attack, 26,000, yeah, about the same to be honest. 25,000, it's a little bit less. Probably would have helped if my rotations were a little bit cleaner, but it's pretty similar. Although the Kazuha team is better, so I will swap back to Kazuha. And I'm going to go test this same charge attack team with a different set, I reckon. And that set is going to be Nymph's Dream, because I think it will be slightly better for charge attack, although it probably is more of an all-rounder for all types of damage, because Heart of Depth can only really buff the charge attack and normal attack, while Nymph's Dream can increase Hydro damage and attack when we use any attack. So let's see, I probably don't have as good pieces on Nymph's Dream, but I might have some decent pieces lying around because I'm pretty sure I did try to build a DPS Mona at one point, or at least I was going to, so I got some pieces ready for it, but they were just never used. So with a full Nymph's Dream, she sits at 65 to 170, which is a little bit worse. I could potentially try to fix that. Where the hell did all of the stats roll into in this? So now with a little revised build, 70 to 179, that's a lot better. And because her burst is up, I will try that out again and see what I can do, except I forgot to put Kazuha back on the team, but screw it, we'll just use Sucrose for now. Burst damage should, ooh, was that 123,000? That's not bad. I didn't get any charge attacks in, but I think that was 123,000 off the burst. So that gives me hope that if I build her fully for burst damage with like Noblesse and Hydro damage or something, I don't know, we could probably see some really good damage out of her burst. But let's see if the charge attack damage can increase. If so, this is probably a pretty good team. And charge attacks do, 50,000. Excuse me. I didn't see any other charge attacks, but there was a 57,000 right at the start there. That is quite a bit better than the 20-something we were seeing on Heart of Depth. So, while we are on this set, because this definitely seems like the better set, I am going to tweak the build and I'm going to try Plunge Attack. I'll probably throw in Shalonen for this one as well, but I could put in Yansan, but I think I'll just go with Shalonen for now. So now we're going to try a Plunge Attack Mona, and I could probably throw out her Burst before I do the Plunge Attacks because I think that will still increase our damage. Xian Yun, Mona Burst, and Plunge Attack. Is that 73,000, I think? Was that a... And I think there might have been 100,000 at the start. Hold on. Why is Plunge Attack Mona kind of good? That's kind of surprising, to be honest. I didn't think Plunge Attack Mona was gonna be that good. Also, now that I think about it, that 100,000 was probably her burst, not the Plunge Attack. Although I would like to try this with Kazuha, because I don't think I was getting any vaporizers. So if we throw Kazuha in here, I can swell Bennett's burst with Kazuha's burst, and that will give us some vaporizers. And Plunge Attack. There's the 100,000 there. And there is 40,000, I think. It's, I think, about the same, to be honest. I didn't see as many numbers that time, and that's partially because the boss went invisible, but it seemed to do kind of similar amounts of damage. So that just leaves me with one more team to try, and that is full burst damage. So we're going to go back to this team, and I'm going to tweak Mona's build to be fully focused on burst damage. And then whichever one I see the most damage out of, I will run that against like Scaramouche or something, I don't know. Throw some food buffs in there, run against Scaramouche and see how much damage we can do. But we want Noblesse for the elemental burst, and then either Nymph Stream or Heart of Depth, depending what I have better stats for the Hydro damage. She can stay on that off piece because it's good, and we'll run her on, I was gonna say a Noblesse here and here. We can steal Durin's piece, that's fine. But we don't really have a good Noblesse circlet. So what I'm gonna do is jump over to the Strongbox and Strongbox a circlet, because really I just want crit rate main stat with crit damage substat. So it shouldn't be too hard to get. And we don't actually see any pieces there, which is unfortunate. So let's rethink this. I still want to keep her on the ER Sands because I think it is better. Although I could run the attack percent because it has ER on it and double crit. And I don't really have any other options for other pieces. So I guess we'll just steal Bennett's piece. And I literally just noticed that I was running Kazuha on a very incorrect build. So that probably isn't helping our damage a whole lot. So now we have 2-piece Noblesse, and we're supposed to have 2-piece Heart of Depth. There we go. Now we have 2-piece Heart of Depth, and that puts her at 72 to 190, which is our best crit ratio so far, and 1500 attack. Now this is solely focusing on burst damage. I don't imagine we see a massive increase on any other damage because we only have the Hydro damage buffing and not any of the other buffs the 4-piece sets gave us. But we'd like to see nuke damage, so we have to run this team. You can't build a stupid support DPS character and not have them do massive nuke damage. So hopefully I see like 150,000 would be kind of cool. 150,000, 200,000. Something like that would be kind of cool to see. Well, then we could put out a skill and then we do her burst, which does a lovely nothing, apparently. Awesome. Was that a 30,000 on a normal attack though? And burst. And we see 132,000. Not bad. And 58,000 from the charge attack. But that is probably because, one, my Kazuha is more built, and I'm also using Mona's burst before doing the charge attacks, which I don't think I was doing last time. So we are getting the buffs from Mona's burst. But I still think this team does the best, and especially if I go try it against Scaramouche, you kind of just want to do big nuke damage against Scaramouche. So that's precisely what we're going to do. As a nice little wrap up for this video, we're going to do my classic Scaramouche test, get some Adeptus Temptation, get some essential oils. I always don't have enough ham. And then go try out our damage against Scaramouche. Do I have Hydro buffing? Yes, I do. Oh, we got a bonus. Hell yeah, let's go. Free Adeptus Temptation. I messed that one up. Ignore that. Another free Adeptus Temptation? That's crazy. 2 extra Adeptus Temptations back to back? That's gotta be pretty lucky, I'd assume. So now it is time to go fight Stupid Boss. I hate fighting Scaramouche, but it's where you see the most damage, so I will suck it up. And we will see 200,000. Now the only problem with Scaramouche and these questionable support DPS things is that for the first part of the fight, this part here, because my entire team is not made up of good DPSs, it's really hard to take him down, and it is a really slow process. Although I think that we get our bursts back before the main boss, so I can just kind of spam them. Still, it's a very slow process. Adeptus Temptation, we want the good one. And Hydro damage buff. Swap, please. Swap, please. Burst, please. Boom. 206,000. Okay, not bad. I don't like how that boss keeps stopping you from swapping characters, but 206,000, I'm pretty sure probably some 30,000s maybe if I saw that correctly from some normal attacks. That's pretty good out of Mona. I could definitely do more damage with her if I wanted to put her on some crit damage food and boost that up to like 200 and something, or fix the artifacts and get more damage from the artifacts. I also don't know if there's a better set I could have run. Then obviously talents, I could, honestly it's level 9, it's probably not that bad, but getting her level 90 is another thing I can do. And weapons, I probably could have run her on a 5-star if I had one, but R5 Wind Sith is pretty good. But then that means we've got Mona to hit 209,000. I know she can do more. I've seen people do more with her, but I just currently am not equipped to do more damage. However, for a first little test run, 209,000 is pretty good. With that being said, that is where I'm going to leave this video off. If you liked the video, go check out the last standard banner 5-star I turned into a DPS. And with that being said, do consider subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next one. Good. Bye.